Folks, thanks for joining us today. My name's John Dubas with Premier Marketing, and we'll be spending the next 50 to 60 minutes or so, bear with us, on the discussion of a program that's really being accentuated, featured by a number of different carriers in this niche market, in a manner of speaking, in the Medicare Advantage world. And what we're looking to do here at Premier is feature some of the premier carriers, pun intended, that offer these programs. And what we're speaking of are the dual special needs programs that are offered by a number of big carriers that are out for this market to help the population that it serves. It's an underserved population, but we're looking to make certain that we feature those so you have an idea as to, boy, this is a great option for me in my target market. And part of that depends on what's your target market. So we're going to go through some of that detail here with you today. The presentation is a refresher for some folks, brand new for others. So bear with us as we go through and try to establish that baseline shared vision as to what we're doing moving forward. You'll notice that in the software package that there is a section for both questions and chat. We ask that you put your questions in the questions box. We find that we normally do cover them through the course of the presentation, but we want to make certain that we get you the information you need to get full value out of today's meeting. And so with that, what we're going to do is remind you also that the presentation is being recorded and will be made available in a number of different sources. One, on our website at premiersmi.com, on our YouTube channel, and through the agent success managers that you have with Premier, those points of contact within our organization that can help you specifically with this program and other offerings that we have. So to illustrate the point as to establishing a baseline, let's talk a little bit about who Premier Marketing is. A number of you are very familiar with us. I recognize some names that I don't recognize. So we're a national marketing organization founded in 1968. That's part of the Integrity Marketing Platform. We're licensed in all 50 states. We act as an insurance wholesaler, working through independent insurance agents such as yourself, through contracts that are at the highest possible commission levels, with recruiting contracts available to those who qualify. We do so through a full portfolio of products aimed at our target demographic. And that includes the base Medicare programs, the Medicare Advantage programs, and the subtypes that, such as today, we'll discuss, but also Medicare Supplement and standalone Part D prescription drug programs, different life insurance and annuity products, including final expense life insurance and pre-need plans, long and short-term care programs, disability income plans, and ancillary benefits, those plans that address specific needs experienced by our prospects and our clients. We want to make certain that we handle the needs across the board for the population we serve. And when we look at the Medicare Advantage carriers that we align with, you have all the national carriers available through our organization, and a number of the regionals, the strong regionals that make a difference for you in your market. And that same philosophy carries over into the standalone prescription drug programs, where the majority of these are part of your MA contract, but a couple of key distinctions. Mutual of Omaha is separate from their other offerings. It is a PDP product only, a prescription drug plan only, and the Clever RX program is actually a discount program and not a standalone Part D plan. When we look at the Medicare supplements, you have a broad portfolio of products available to you through Premier Marketing, and we have specific support programs in place to help you be successful in this space as well, because it's all part of a holistic outlook that includes those ancillary products, that in each of those categories, the leaders in those programs are available to you through our organization. It's important for us with these programs to feature them because they give us additional marketing opportunities. They give us, obviously, the programs to satisfy the needs of our prospects and clients first and foremost, but it also creates an additional revenue flow for ourselves and our agencies to cross-sell and make certain that because of the differences in some of the oversight, we can do some things on a marketing basis here that can be very for all involved. And we do so through proper communication. Every portion of our society subset has its own language in a manner of speaking. But when we get into the Medicare arena, there's a whole bunch of acronyms out there, and we want to make certain that we're able to translate those for our audience. And well, this snapshot's off of a CMS website. As you see, 4,420 acronyms. We really need to have something that helps us remind us that, okay, what does this mean? A whole bunch of us with experience in this area, you know, it's kind of secondhand for a lot of it, but we want to make certain that not only can we translate these acronyms, we are communicating properly with our audience to make certain they understand what is going on. And that's a key component in a market that is huge. We're working the Medicare arena because the folks really need the help, but it's a great opportunity for us as well. And when you come on a presentation like today, you hear of the aging of the baby boomers, the silver tsunami, 1 every 10 seconds, 10,000 plus a day. And if you look at it based on age, man, it's near an exponential growth, it appears. But because of some changes in other programs and the circumstances that have been foisted upon us by the pandemic and other things, we're seeing a number of folks that are working past the age of 65. And while they are available, full Medicare benefits are available to them, they're postponing involvement in many circumstances. Man, I love my job. I'm not going to retire at 65. I'm going to keep working. Social Security, I can't get full benefits as a tail end baby boomer because that doesn't happen until age 67. So some different things that temper some of those numbers, but it's more than made up for by the fact that a good portion of the Medicare population is under the age of 65 and are accessing their benefits because of disability. So we have a mixed market to a degree when it comes to who are we presenting to and what might be their best choice. Illustration here from the CMS website, man, a huge market. And so how do we address that? 65 million plus enrolled in Medicare. We want to make certain that we are giving them choices because that's what they have when you encounter the Medicare system. You don't have to do anything. You can actually decline Part B should you choose to do so, a proper choice for a percentage of folks, as we illustrated, those that are working past the age of 65 and have other coverages. Some folks will take A and B, self-insure for the financial shortfall in that program, pick up a standalone Part D to cover the prescription drugs. Some will cover those deductibles and coinsurance through a standardized, modernized Med Supp. Great choice for a number of people. Some will go bundling and go into the Medicare Advantage systems. In each area, we want to make certain that we have programs that can help those folks with their particular situation, educate them as to the advantages of the different options they have available, and move forward appropriately. And we do that throughout the year because even though there is that 7-week or so open enrollment, that annual election period each and every year from October 15th to Pearl Harbor Day of December 7th, the majority of people on Medicare aren't doing a comparison of their health plans. So they need our help throughout the year because it doesn't matter what their base program is. They're not doing some of the comparisons, and that can really hurt them because of changes brought about in the plans and can really have an adverse effect on the dollars and cents that are available to them through their budget. They're not using the information the government kicks out, be it in whatever format. It's the e-version of their Medicare and U book, or are we still getting that through the Postal Service? Whatever the situation is, that's not being utilized. The different electronic systems are not available or are available but not being utilized, as are other ways of communicating the information that the Medicare program has for them. So we look to make certain that we have an opportunity to present information in a format that folks are comfortable receiving and will actually use. Gee, if they're getting the Medicare and U book from the government electronically, are we being repetitious and just hoping that they're going to look at some of the information we send virtually? Are we meeting with people in person, shaking hands and kissing babies and getting information across that way? Are we working a combination of it? Whatever the circumstance is, we need to realize that folks on Medicare, and we'll skip that 17+% that are under the age of 65, even though some of them may consider themselves as seniors. Well, they become increasingly digitally savvy because of, well, they've been trained to do so over the last few years. Doctor's visits, be it primary care specialist, hospital stays, visits to the dentist, even part of their overall life experience of celebrating their faith, a lot of that is being handled digitally. And folks are much more comfortable than they have been in the past of receiving information in that fashion. So, do we have the wherewithal to deliver that information in that fashion? Are we working with carriers that help us deliver the information in that fashion? And what we have is a consideration of how then do we work the different election periods, the special election periods, the special election periods that many of the carriers help make us aware of? Are we delivering upon information that can help people in that circumstance? And so we look for folks that help us do so. And today's featured organization is Aetna and the programs they have in the dual special needs arena to help you grow and earn throughout the course of the year and throughout, hopefully, your career with this population. So let's look at some of the specifics that Aetna does with their DSNP programs. There's an acronym for you, that dual eligible special needs plans. What are they doing for us in 2023? And so let's look at how we can understand DSNPs in general. It's an all-in-one coverage, a subset of the Medicare Advantage plans brought out by legislation from a number of years ago that addresses a specific need. These are folks that are underserved in many circumstances, are heavy utilizers in certain circumstances, but they have some of the same requirements in order to be eligible for these programs and how they bundle everything together. So a person who enrolls in a Medicare Advantage program that is a dual special needs plan, there are certain requirements for them to be eligible, and there are certain requirements of the carrier's offerings that are necessary to fit this consideration. So folks have to have their parts A and B and continue those coverages. In a situation for dual SNPs, those premiums are generally covered by other governmental programs, and they're administered by Medicare approved companies with contracts with the government. In order to get that contract, they're vetted, all of the benefits are reviewed, and we want to make certain that folks realize that they come with additional benefits beyond what they may be experiencing now. So this can bundle on additional dental, vision, and hearing care, different fitness memberships, and every special needs plan, well, it has to have that integrated Part D prescription drug coverage. That's one of the requirements that the government puts upon the carriers that offer special needs programs. So each of those types of programs have to have the medication coverage integrated into the overall plan. And this gives us then an opportunity to help these folks because it integrates their care across the board. And so we're making, hopefully, these circumstances easier for those folks in these programs to access all of these benefits and have a coordinated approach to their health care coverage. And that gives us then the opportunity to make certain that they realize what they can get by enrolling in these programs. Many folks within these plans, if they are full dual beneficiaries, will say, well, hey, I got coverage across the board. Why would I do this? Well, you get extra benefits. So you get an opportunity to have additional coverage for different programs and make certain that that out-of-pocket exposure is minimized or eliminated. And it includes then establishing a personal care team for an individual, getting those additional DVH benefits. There's another acronym for you, dental, vision, hearing benefits. And many carriers, specifically with Aetna as well, include an additional extra benefits card that gives them an opportunity with certain financial allowances to access over-the-counter programs or other eligible and wellness purchases that they don't have with their current coverages. And that can make a huge difference, because sometimes folks, well, hey, I just got a cold. I'm not going to the doctor. I just need cough syrup and aspirin. Over-the-counter remedies in those circumstances can be covered by those OTC benefits, over-the-counter benefits, and it then allows them to stretch their budget so they don't have more months than food or whatever the circumstance may be. Man, I got to worry about paying my electric bill. Well, you have monies for a particular illness that's coming out of that OTC card. It eases some of the financial pressure they have with their month-to-month budget. With these programs, then, it gives them that, as I mentioned, that extra benefits card, and you can have different allowances depending upon the market in which you are participating. So it can vary from a very reasonable amount to a very strong amount based on that market. And it gives them then the option of accessing those benefits in a couple of different fashions. You can do some things through a catalog and have them delivered, or you can shop in a different approved stores to make it work. Aetna even includes an option for healthy food at approved stores for certain food substances. It also gives them the opportunity to maybe look at that over-the-counter benefit and realize that, hey, this can help me pay utility bills, including electric, gas, water, cell phone, internet service. Free up budget in that circumstance as well. It can be monies used for gas or transportation, making certain that, oh, we have all these wonderful benefits. How can we access them if we can't get to them? Well, you can in that fashion. So we have to realize that we're doing this on a general explanation benefit. We don't want to be the same as some of the commercials that we see on television that squeeze all these benefits from different programs, and they're not specifically for that market. So we want to make certain that we're explaining to folks that, hey, in your zip code, this is what's available on a dual special needs plan and how it can really help you and improve your circumstance month over month. We want to make certain too that they realize that it's not just what you can buy, it's what can be delivered by the support team that really helps manage the care. Many times folks that are on a dual special needs program have additional needs, more heavy utilization of medical benefits. So they have a personal care team with Aetna that helps coordinate that care, works with social workers and member advocates to look at, hey, are there other programs even outside of our benefits on our plan here that can be delivered through the care coordination component of these programs. So that makes a big difference because, hey, it gives them also that peace of mind to help them realize that the plans are looking to address that individual specific needs, create a care plan that can be very, very valuable, coordinate those visits to the different medical professionals, the different healthcare providers to address a specific need. One of the big things that come into play as well is, why am I taking this medication? Well, a lot of times when we look at some of the different prescriptions that are out there, it's a challenge enough to kind of pronounce their name, let alone what they're doing for folks. And we'll see some folks that will say, well, that's that little white pill. Well, that's not really a really good explanation of what that medication is. How then can we make certain that folks realize that this is what addresses your blood pressure? This is what deals with your blood sugar. This is what deals with a whole plethora of needs. And this is why it's important for you to adhere to that medication regimen. Once again, as well, this team helps them set up other programs, should they qualify for them, that can get them even more help. Part of the challenge that we have with certain segments of this population, well, population in general, is they don't necessarily know what is available to them across the board. When you have this care coordination team, then you have an opportunity to help educate and access the benefits across the board and help them realize that this bundles on top of additional benefits that they may have depending upon the market. So we're going to look at, are we checking all the boxes? Are we delivering upon a circumstance that helps improve that individual circumstance? So folks that enroll in these programs are communicated with very thoroughly. They get a welcome call as a new enrollee to make certain that they realize that they have additional coverage and how we can reiterate the benefits that they have as a member, how they use their ID card, and how that can be different in different states and different markets, because there are certain states that have managed care for Medicaid as well. So how do we make certain that we are utilizing and presenting the information to help our providers realize that, oh man, I can use this for this, and I can make this really help improve my situation. And that welcome kit, because many folks in this demographic are still tactile. We need to have something that we can read and review and make certain that we understand our plan information. And this is important not just for the beneficiary, but for the caregivers and the other influencers in that household for that individual's protection. And we want to make certain that they realize that we're going to gather as much information as possible, make certain that we are aware of, we being the agents that are dealing with the population and the carrier with Aetna, how the health survey can make a big difference. And as we go through and we look at the different enrollment processes that we have for the Medicare population overall, but specifically for this market, is, are we properly surveying them so we understand what their health circumstances are? We have some different things that come into play that perhaps in the past coding was incomplete, and we aren't seeing a full picture of what this individual is going through. The survey helps us identify those needs and make certain that they are addressed properly and in a timely fashion. What Aetna does is they give us an opportunity to work with a carrier that's got industry-leading growth over the past 3 years. And we see folks that are in particular markets that are seeing tremendous growth. And that might be because the plans are newer in that area, or they stand on a very strong competitive basis. But certain markets, well, we're really seeing increased activity in those areas. And it gives us then an opportunity to highlight the plans and what make these different for different individuals. And that extra benefits card, man, that's huge with all the carriers. But when you have an experienced carrier that can really deliver upon these different extras, that makes a big difference. I've already noted ad nauseum to a degree here as to why I got everything paid for. Well, it's your base medical. We can add to that with these, in many cases, social determinant of health benefits, and it can make a huge difference. And we look at how that can enhance their coverage for medications and how it can do some different things in other areas. There are, within our world here, a number of reasons why folks are admitted into a hospital. And many of us don't realize that the number 3 cause for hospital admission for this segment of our society, what's falls. And these programs help address that as well, because none of us want to spend time in a hospital. None of us want to go into a skilled nursing unit. None of us want to go into a long-term care facility. What can we do to prevent that from happening? And what can we do to stay independent and happy in our own home? So one of the things that we see with Aetna is the fact that it's a expanding market. It's becoming available in more states and more counties with additional plan types. So that chassis, that is the basis of delivery, may be an HMO chassis, it might be a PPO chassis, it might be a POS chassis. So you have choices in different markets as well as to how that can work. We have then that extra benefits card that is, well, it's different than the old days. I've been doing this for a long time, and what we're seeing is those cards now cover much more than what they used to. It used to be, okay, adult diapers, cough syrup, aspirins, some of those things that we think about. We saw in previous slides here, well, hey, that can also be used perhaps for utilities or transportation, and that can make a big difference. It also gives us accessibility and making certain that we are stretching the budget, handling it as much as possible. Aetna is investing in other areas as well. So the broker compensation, what you are paid for offering these programs, are right at top of market, and the renewals are where we need them to be when we focus on how we can make this part of our overall marketing program. And Aetna gives us that support by making certain that we realize the support that is available in the different markets and how the benefits are enhanced through the use of these programs. So Aetna, being part of CVS, gives us also opportunities to work in discovering where these people are. We can have a wonderful car, but if we don't have gasoline to put in it, the car is going to sit in the garage. It won't do us a darn bit of good. How are we getting in front of these people? So Aetna has programs that set up grassroots lead generation. Very cost effective for us all, but it also makes the folks very comfortable in how they are being solicited for this information and how it works with other programs that CVS has within their overall corporate structure. So we have opportunities for retail marketing. We have ways of supporting the goals for health equity, because when we get into certain ethnic groups, some of them are especially underserved. Do we have the marketing potential to reach out in a fashion that they understand? We talked earlier about, are we delivering this electronically or physically? Well, this market may be a combination of both. It may be the whole, let's go out, shake some hands and kiss some babies. So we have folks realizing that they have options and that we can improve that experience simply by doing what we need to do on a day-to-day basis, starting with how do we run across these folks in the first place. So we want to make certain that we're simplifying the explanation, hence the whole thing with the acronym guide, and making folks realize this is how we best communicate with these folks and help them realize that these extra benefits can make a big difference in their lives, and make certain that it not only is available to them, but they use it and they are affecting that individual's overall health and well-being. It gives us that opportunity to add to benefits that they don't already have, and we can bundle upon them additional opportunities to take care of what they need to take care of. And that can make a big difference because it affects the overall budget of that individual and can really go beyond just the needs, but it addresses the stress. That is, man, I got a week's worth a month before I get my checks, and I don't have enough to cover that in that week. When we're looking at the extra benefits, It stretches that dollar and can really make a difference in the overall well-being of the folks that we visit with. So we also want to make certain that the carrier addresses our needs as well. And so that Aetna eliminates the proration of the administrative fees, the commissions that come into play, and addresses chargebacks, because it is a very strong persistency market. But because of the special election periods that are available to this population, you have an opportunity to cover a change in each of the first 3 quarters through that special election period that we breeze through at the beginning of the presentation. But it gives us then the opportunity to help people all year round. It also gives us that opportunity to help address the discovery of specific needs through that HRA that's available that we're compensated on to help folks relay the information to the carrier, to Aetna, so they know what they need to address. Now, I go back to the fact that there might be incomplete coding in the past as to, okay, the doctor didn't put in all the specifics of what this person is dealing with through the coding of the care that's been delivered. And we want to make certain then that the language we use and the format is one that allows us to communicate properly. We look at the overall market in 2023. Well, Aetna reaches 6.6 million people in different states. So we have 27 states in 2022 and 822 counties. It's been expanded for us for 3 additional states, additional counties in which it's available that can make a difference for us. So that gives us a strong opportunity in many markets to address this vulnerable population. We look at some of the growth that's available through Aetna. Is this happening simply because it's the new kid on the block? The car is all nice and shiny? Well, part of it might be, but part of that is also then the opportunity for folks to realize this is available. Part of it is awareness. Part of it is our efforts to go into the population and help folks realize this is a good thing for me. And you see that in a huge number of the markets that Aetna serves. We want to make certain that particular markets too, we realize that, well, hey, I'm licensed in a whole bunch of different states. I can do this telephonically. How can I reach these people and what would be my target markets? So discussion with Aetna management, tied in through communications that we at Premier help you with to identify these markets, can really help you then to realize that, hey, this is going to be part of my marketing plan, expanding beyond the zip code in which I reside. The information systems that come about as to, well, this person has enrolled, how do I prep them for what is coming? Because that's really, really important. That welcoming and the onboarding of this really has a strong direct correlation as to they've come on the program, they're going to stay on the program as well. So this gives us that timeline as to how that happens and how we need to communicate with folks as to this is what our next steps are. We want to make certain that we're using the proper identification as we access care. We want to make certain that, hey, one of the things we really want to do is make certain that you have a physical. When's the last time you've done that? It's a great way to establish a strong relationship with our healthcare providers in different areas. And it also gives us then the opportunity through these different cards to make certain that everybody that's part of this decision, not just the beneficiary, but perhaps children or adult children in most circumstances, they realize that this is what's going on and how this is good for everyone that comes into play, and how that is repeated throughout the life cycle of that person's participation in the plan. Because, hey, things do change year over year. Enhancements come generally each and every year. How do we make certain that they understand that they're important to the plan, but the plan is also important to them because those extra benefits can make a big difference. Aetna does also tempt us with additional marketing incentives. Now, the max compensation for a dual special needs plan, like a regular Medicare Advantage plan or a PDP program, that max is set by the government. Most of the carriers go right to that max when it comes to paying us commission. Aetna does. But they also have additional programs, additional comp that can make a difference because it can't be in just dollars. Aetna is addressing that by making available co-op dollars to help us market, to help us with different swag that's out there that can basically attract people because of it. And that includes marketing dollars and different supplies that can make us very successful in how this markets. So what they have are top producer incentives. And that can make a big difference because it stretches our marketing budget as well. And this applies to new dual special needs sales from the 1st of February, so starting next week, through March until April 1st. And those tabulations, well, they're being compiled in May, and the winners will be announced at that time. They'll look at, canceled applications or rapid disenrollments that'll be pulled from the final counts. And in order to qualify for the contest, the brokers our agents have to have a minimum of 10 sales. I think if you have a minimum of 10 sales, the chance of being in one of the top 3 producers is probably equivalent to a snowball in Hades. But those top markets are going to be addressed in each of these different areas. So it can make a bit of a difference for us because we're looking at people in a particular market as our competition for those swag dollars, is what I'm going to call them. So Aetna is doing a number of different things to help us with programs that are strong and of benefit to the population we serve and address our needs as agents as well. So we want to make certain that we are looking at this holistically. God, that's a word that I normally avoid, but how is it good for everyone involved? And it is, plain and simple. You got strong support with Aetna, you got strong plans, you got strong comp and marketing support as well. And that is dogpiled, in a manner of speaking, with the support that you get with Premier. Now, many times when we address this market with Aetna, we're going to do direct links for contracting to make certain that we do things as completely thoroughly and as quickly as possible to expedite the process. But you can also create an agent profile within this system, the SureLC system, Assurance Bay, whatever you want to call it, where you have established an agent profile. And so you're able to pull different pieces of information to look at other programs perhaps as well. Are we addressing the needs of that household to make certain that they're fully covered? And in all candor, are we closing the doors to our competition? And then that requires, in many circumstances, offering additional programs. Utilizing an electronic system to contract expedites that process across the board. We also want to make certain that you cover yourself financially. So Premier does offer discounted errors and admissions coverage for qualified agents. Well, it makes you a qualified agent. You have a contract with us, but this is a program you own. It's not being added to a blanket E&O policy for one program. And how do we then satisfy this requirement with other carriers? And let's be totally candid here. I don't care how big the marketing organization you deal with is. Well, Premier's huge. We don't offer everything everywhere. We want to make certain that you are covered across the board. You own this. It's going to satisfy that requirement that the carriers have to cover your liability in the remote chance that would ever happen. We also want to make certain that we protect your license. So we have discounted continuing education programs bundled through our association with WebCE. We also want to make certain that as an independent agent, you have as complete of a benefit package as possible. So you have access to a modified guarantee issued DI policy. More acronyms there, John. More coverage through non-cancelable disability income programs in which you're paid a commission for a program on yourself. Much as what I mentioned at the start of today's presentation, we're recording this. Will be made available on our website and on our YouTube channel. But many times these programs are very community oriented when it comes to marketing. So how do we work with faith-based organizations? How do we work with providers? How do we use other programs as a door opener as necessary? How do we look at all of the plans that are available in a particular market? We have a video library made available to you for past presentations that have been recorded as well that you can access 24/7. So if you're looking to market through faith-based organizations within a target market, we can help you do that. If you're looking to work with doctors in a particular market, dentists in a particular market, we can help you with provider marketing as well. And keep in mind, in this space especially, you have an opportunity to work with providers that perhaps, well, that didn't occur to me. Why am I going to a dentist for a medical program? Well, a lot of those extra benefits deal with dental expenses, and this population is in need of help in that area. So you have access to that, and your agent success manager with Premier can really be a huge access or asset for you in order to access the information for these programs. One of the tools that we make available to our contracted agents is our Medicare Center program, where you have a single universal access to multiple quoting engines, where you can basically address the dissemination of information compliantly. We can collect those scopes of appointment and store them for that 10-year period, and do so with call recordings as well for that 10-year period, and do so compliantly. And by doing so, we're able to send out side-by-side plan comparisons if necessary, or information on a singular plan that we've discussed that we've determined might be in that person's best interest. This also gives an opportunity for you to have a presence on the web, the grand scale of reaching out into the community through electronic means. This personal URL, that PEARL as we say, well, it can be your point of contact in on the internet, where people can go, they do a little shopping on what you have available, they can even enroll through it, and that enrollment is pointed to you. So those are commission dollars that are coming to you through the use of this free marketing component. And of course, you can put that link in your email, you can put that link on a website, plug it into your website that you're working with, and utilize that contact management system to stay up on these different individuals that have expressed interest. It's a great way for you to do your year-over-year reviews. It's a great way to go back through and market other programs. It's a great way to realize that, hey, I had somebody enroll themselves. I need to reach out to them, speak to them, make certain that they realize you've got a human person here that can really help them, a live person, and we're able to then make certain that they reinforce the message of why did I enroll in this program in the first place. It can help you that way. And that contact system has switcher tags available to it as well. What the heck is that? Well, those are individuals that are identified that's in your book of business, be it an enrollment or just a prospect, that identifies folks that are prime candidates for changing coverages as well. And we want to make certain that we address those folks because they might be a higher priority than someone else. We'll talk about Lead Center in just a bit, but the program also has different resources in there to help improve our skill set. It's not just having great programs. It's not just attracting prospects. It is the closing of those situations where they go from prospect to member, prospect to client, and how can we improve our skill set as to making that happen. The program is, of course, available not only on a desktop or laptop or whatever it happens to be, but available as a mobile application as well. So you can access it in the field through your smartphone. And to quote one of those quasi-celebrities on commercials. It's available without cost to you as a contracted agent with our organization. In the vernacular of J.J. Walker, it's free. So you don't have to worry about what it's going to cost. This wonderful tool available to you without cost, all these different advantages as to how to use it. We talk a wee bit as well about comp. Well, we talk a bunch about compensation. Different programs, as I mentioned in this arena, the max comp for an MAPD, MA, or PDP program set by the government. Most of the carriers offer that right out of the gate, but there are other programs available through your portfolio that may have additional incentives, and it may help you qualify for carrier trips, and it would help you qualify for the different incentive programs we offer here at Premier. So that can be a huge difference for you because it's maximizing your compensation. It'll help you qualify not only for different marketing support, but the return of the Premier Marketing Producers Convention. These are awesome experiences that are held annually, and this is how you can qualify for those and realize that this isn't one of those they're going to beat you to death with meetings all the time. This is where they take you to celebrate your success that you have had. We also want to make certain that we help you get in front of people, going beyond that lead center piece that I'm going to talk about in just a second. You can't cold call for MAPD or PDP programs, but you can for dental plans. You can for final expense. You can for med subs. It's more of a challenge than it's been in the past, but those contact lists are available to you at low or no cost, butted up against the do not call, so we're staying compliant and we're able to market in that fashion as well. When I was in individual production, I'd cold call back in that day. It was pre-MIPA, but for different programs to make certain that my skill set was sharpened, honed in on, hey, this is what works, this is what doesn't. I mentioned already how we can access information on how we can be effective in community-based programs. So we've established ourselves in a retail situation. It doesn't end on 12/7. We're going to continue that relationship throughout the year. How can we do so? We have programs that help you recognize and maximize the investment that you have put in yourself, perhaps monetarily or at least with the time that you put in, and make it work the best thing for you. And as I mentioned already, how that also extends to faith-based organizations and providers in the community, other centers of influence that can make a difference as to how many people we sit with and discuss the different programs. When you look at different Medicare Advantage and PDP programs, these are the areas of carrier support when it comes to generation of other prospects. It's a quid pro quo situation where, gee, I've helped them, they're going to help me. And a lot of that is determined by your local agent manager with the carrier. So we want to make certain that we facilitate that relationship, you deepen it, and we're then in line for that big carrier giving us people to talk to as well. We do have internet lead programs through social media, we'll talk about in a second, direct mail support, other programs, including the Lead Center, a T65 Locator, referral programs that help you maximize your marketing efforts. That mail support is based on production, but it drives down the cost of these mailers so we can do things consistently. We can do so with the health programs. We can do so with final expense as well. You can qualify for both each and every month, depending upon your production. It gives us then that consistency that's necessary to maximize the effectiveness of this marketing campaign. You do it once, it's like an exercise program. You feel a little bit of pain. You might think you got a little bit of benefit, but if you do it consistently, that's where you see the results. And we do so through preferred lead vendors. We vet their systems. We vet the marketing outreach that's available to make certain we stay compliant. But then when a lead comes in, when a response comes in, how quickly can we access it to get it while it's good and hot? This helps you because these particular vendors have those systems to help us be effective in that area. We also have programs set up with other direct mail responses where it perhaps helps you with that initial investment. It's not as large up front, but you can fill your calendar based on untouched direct mail responses. Hey, they raised their hand. They're interested in this. How can I get me some of that? These prices do vary throughout the year and through areas. It's a supply and demand type of thing, but they're very economical for you to access, and it's a great way for you to fill your calendar. The internet lead programs are based on Facebook. That's the primary social media outlet that our target demographic uses. Program in play for final expense and for Medicare. Something to consider about the internet: a microwave response on the part of an individual. So you can kick out an ad and you can have a response right away, but they're expecting a response from you in a very timely fashion as well. So we want to make certain we're aware of that and that we properly address that lead flow to maximize its value. Lead Center, I bounced over this a couple times, but these are programs solicited by our organization through different means that you can access in either a hot transfer or through information kicked into your CRM, and you turn it on and off based on the leads that you can handle, the budget that you have for these programs. They are periodically on sale as well, so we want to make certain that we're maximizing our reach. And how do we properly use these leads? Great opportunity, very convenient, put in a CRM. So even if we miss them the first time, we have an opportunity to go back as long as we are adhering to the do not call regs that come into play. That T65 locator, it's also another complimentary tool made available to you that you download to your smartphone or your laptop or your desktop or whatever device you're using. They find that you have a contract with our organization, they register you, and you can actually then determine where these people are based on the parameters that you set as to where they are physically. So there are some things that you can still door knock for if you choose to do so. You can't for MAPD or PDP programs. Please, dear Lord, don't do that. But you can for dental. You can for final expense. You can for med subs, should you choose to do so. So different things that can come into play as part of an overall marketing program. That referral process, one of the biggest challenges we have with referrals is we don't ask. Only 11% of the agent population do so consistently. And it goes beyond just the sales process. We start with the referral when a lead comes in and we're setting up an appointment. We do so periodically throughout our presentation. And we most certainly do at the end. It's the old Columbo approach. Well, by the way, one more question. We can also use this to keep our book of business engaged as well. We go into that CRM that's part of the Medicare Center, and we reach out to folks and say, hey, I got a great dental program that's come available to me in your market. Do you know of folks that need that type of coverage? We'll get a little bit of a silence and they'll go, well, hey, one of those folks is me. You can engage your book that and then in that fashion, get referrals for other people to speak with, and also solidify that relationship with someone that you've already sold or someone that's in your CRM, your client database, that, hey, they're aware of you, but they didn't buy from you. It's a new opportunity to revisit in that fashion as well. So you have a strong way to market at a very economical basis. And we do all this because, hey, we want your business. We want to be referable to you and your agent friends. And so this is a program that you can put into play in your personal marketing program, move forward very quickly. You got a contract with an MA carrier. This is an additional module for the product, of course. So we want to make certain that we're properly certified, but it gives us the opportunity to move forward very, very quickly. It can make a huge difference to you throughout the year. So I've taken an hour of your time about. I want to make certain that for those of you that are on the line that have done business with us here at Premier Marketing in the past, thank you for that business. It's genuinely appreciated. We look to deepen that relationship with other programs that we have available to you in your market and the support that we're able to deliver. For those of you that are investigating us as to why would I want to do business with these guys? Hopefully some of the things that we talked about today will help demonstrate why you want to do that. But I thank you for the opportunity to do business with you moving forward. But for everyone that's viewed today's presentation, I thank you for the devotion of your most valuable resource, and that's your time. I thank you for that. A quick check in the systems. We've addressed the questions that have been put there throughout the course of the presentation. I thank you for those as well. Additional things that, hey, I need clarification on this point. Let's make certain that you have that agent success manager, that subject matter expert to help you, not only now, but throughout your year and throughout your relationship with our organization. And so until we're able to speak with you again, I'm going to wish you good selling. Thanks so very much. We look forward to visiting with you very soon. Have a good one.